Well, they might take off. They tend to take off when I'm around. Because, yeah, I mean, this is the whole thing now where you ignore people asking questions, especially ex-witnesses. The whole shunning. Because it doesn't make you look good. And it's not going to stop us from asking the questions. Like the latest Elders book that came out in February. How the congregation is not told about a child molester being in the congregation unless they get permission from the service desk at Bethel to let them know, and we know that doesn't happen. Or so yeah. Or how you ignore ex-witnesses who actually try to talk to you about the issues in the congregations and in the witnesses. How Kingdom Halls are being sold off to pay for all the court cases and that you a lot of losing to tunes of millions of dollars. How the organisation can try to justify that. Well, you're not really a pedophile protecting organisation, but somehow keep on paying out money to prevent people finding out about the pedophiles. How you actually badmouth the victims of child abuse, shun them. I mean, how can you be part of God's organisation if God is supposedly protecting child molesters and condones it? I mean, how can you claim to be representatives of God when you do so much that's obviously not Christian or Christ-like? And Jesus wouldn't have walked away from people asking the tough questions. Jesus certainly wouldn't condone the child abuse, kids being molested. And actually one of the victims from the ARC has now become a lawyer recently. She's passed the bar. So that's pretty good. But apparently she's a liar as well. I mean, that's what's basically being said about her. I mean, how can you deny all the things that are actually proven by the organisation? How can you ignore the fact that 579 people in 65 years out of 1,006 admitted that they raped kids, and yet not one was reported to the police? How can you be part of an organisation that actively badmouth people who have left because of what they've suffered, and they see the perpetrators, the rapists of them, being allowed to stay in the congregation? How can all that be permitted? How can you claim to be Christians if you actually are fine with that? You follow 8 men who claim to represent God, claim to have the Holy Spirit directing them, and yet they've been wrong in so many things. I mean, I don't know the Holy Spirit could be wrong. Apparently now they've changed the whole overlapping generations thing, and I mean, all these things are changing. I mean, how can you claim to be Christians if you do so much that Christ would not condone? How can you... what gets me is you talk about us apostates.
That's it. I'm at it, yeah.
Who don't You know, you claim that we leave God when we leave the organisation, but the fact is that you can't say that. How can we believe God? We still worship God. We just leave an organisation that proves itself to be, well, by the actions of its followers, to not be Christian. I mean, that's what gets me. You know, you ignore people who ask questions. You ignore people who, and shun them, obviously, because I'm being shunned, you know, who ask about how can you sit back and be part of an organisation that condones child abuse, that protects child abuse. I mean, and you're ignoring me. I'm asking questions about child abuse and how you can stand by and condone it and not say anything.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling 100% better.
And you're ignoring me.
That's it, but then,
Unless you're next witness, then I don't care.
so one of those things that come in, you know, like one day you feel a bit better, and then the next day you think, oh good, and then...
I mean, unbelievable. I'm being ignored. Because I'm an ex-witness, I'm being ignored. Because I ask questions about child abuse, I'm being ignored.
Good to see you out,
I mean, see, this is not Christian. How can you claim to be Christians if you do this?
Okay.
And what's even better is it's all been recorded. So you're showing just how unchristian you are. And you can't hide from me because I always turn up. And yeah, another victory for the cart crashers. So, 10 minutes worth. And look at them go. Look at them take off. Yeah, they don't tend to last long. They lasted 10 minutes this time. So it looks like what they've been doing is turning up earlier. Tell you what, but it's bright today. Beautiful day. And they spent almost 10 minutes ignoring me. But what can I say? Got rid of them again.